patience, and volunteer coordinator here at Unity Church of Overland Park. I am joined this morning on the platform with our board president, Pam Enlow. Also, we have our interpreter, Stacy Storm, and Fred Albers, who is hiding behind his music stand right now, and also Terry Swope. Terry Swope is a guitarist, a singer-songwriter, a bird watcher extraordinaire, and an organic gardener. Way to go! And Reverend Jackie will be joining us today for her message, her continuing message of poetry and prayer, Healing with Myrtle Fillmore. So whether you are joining us on Facebook, YouTube, or you are here at FlexPod, as we prepare to officially begin our in-person services on the 6th of June, we welcome you. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of this community. And in unity, we honor all paths to God. We believe that all people are born in original blessing. And so, as we prepare to get back together on the 6th, Pam and I want to take this opportunity to review a few tips and guidelines for coming back together. So,
I have to finish
Pam.
breakfast before I Zoom.
Oh, yes, that's true. And you know what? We won't be Zooming anymore. We won't be Zooming this service on 6, so if you could kind of eat your breakfast before you came, that would be awesome.
Oh, okay.
Could you do that? That would be great.
And a tip for you is you might want to dress the bottom half of yourself.
Oh.
So since we won't be Zooming, I don't know, I like it, but...
Well, that's a good point.
Oh, and I love the hair, too.
What's the matter with my hair?
Front is great.
Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, it's hard to remember all those
When
things.
you see people in person, they see the whole thing, don't they? Including the back of the hair.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
I
All
believe
right.
so.
So dressing appropriately is probably a good thing.
Finishing breakfast before
Finishing
you get,
breakfast,
before you get
okay,
here. Yeah.
that's good. Or bring enough to share, one or the other.
True,
Okay.
true.
Let's see, what else?
Park on the flum side.
Okay, so look for our signs.
And there will be balloons, of course.
Yay, balloons are good. I like balloons.
I do too.
Yeah. What else?
At the sign-in table, use hand sanitizers and pick up a mask if you don't have one.
Like we don't know what these look like by now, but anyway. And what else? Do we still need to sign in? I think we do.
Oh, we do. We still need to sign in. Okay.
So if you are going to, and I hope as a board president you plan on being here on the 6th.
I do. I think I'll be here. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So just go through our website or click the link on the e-news and you can sign up to register to be here on the 6th when we officially open up.
Yay!
Charge! Okay, excellent.
Okay, also remember to replace handshakes and hugs with something else. Maybe a peace sign or elbow bump or, a fanny bump. Okay. Or place your hand over your heart as a gesture of heart connection.
That's very nice.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can't wait till we can hug. That will
Me
be
neither.
so nice.
And I think there are some secret hugs, but
Okay, all right.
we won't talk about those.
So Pam, in unity, we honor and affirm people of all color, creed, ability, gender orientation, sexual orientation, and gender expression. We preach, teach, and believe in our wholeness as a beloved child of God, and we value the gift of diversity in the world. We come together each week to remember and remind each other who and whose we are. And we light the Christ candle that symbolizes the Christ light always present and brightly shining in each one of us. And so as we behold the light that we are, let us affirm one of Unity's foundational statements of truth. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the source of all good.
And our vision. A
World powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
And because we're not always going to be at PlexPod, we need a future space affirmation. We are grateful for our new spiritual home
that empowers us to fulfill our mission.
So it's time for Terry Swope to sing. Terry Swope to sing "Rise Up, Oh My Soul."
Come on, everybody. 1, 2. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Let the Spirit flow. Let it flow. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Yeah. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Come on, y'all. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Let the Spirit flow. Yes, let it flow. Come on now. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Show me the kingdom, Fred. Rise up, sing with us, my soul. Let's hear ya. Rise up, oh my soul. Rejoice in this day. Rise up, oh my soul. Let the Spirit flow. Yes, let it flow. Feel it. Rise up, oh my soul. Yes. Rise up, oh my soul. Come on. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Yeah. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Let the Spirit flow. Let it flow. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Oh, let it show. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Wherever I go. Show me the kingdom everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. Yeah. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Terry. It's a good way to get us going. The word for today is, the unity word for the day is faith, an appropriate word, for Sunday, May 23rd. My faith keeps me focused on God. I may not be able to control what happens around me, but I am always free to choose what happens within me. My perception determines my experience. I begin with faith. I choose to see the vibrant wholeness that is present even during illness. I open my heart and mind to the harmony that I know is possible even in the midst of apparent discord. When my needs appear greater than my resources, I remind myself all supply springs forth from the inexhaustible well of divine substance. I am reassured by remembering all situations are temporary and God is greater than every circumstance. Through my faith, I align my thoughts with the divine. Through my faith, I align my thoughts with the divine and believe in this truth that sets me free. And the Bible verse is from Luke. If you had faith the size of a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it would obey you. We'll get that metaphysical interpretation later. So thank you.
Take that faith. Let's take that faith deeply as we call our soul to a rising up. This is the day that God as us has made, and we rejoice. We are glad in it. We are faith-filled in this day. And though God is greater than any circumstance, God is present fully in the midst of every circumstance. And for this abiding truth, we are so grateful for the experience of spiritual community in which we remember truth. We are so grateful for this particular spiritual community that embodies love in action. Unity Church of Overland Park, we are so grateful. So whether you have been joining this community for decades, or if this is your first time, we call you in to this beacon of light and love. We call you into this sacred time together in which we gather for the purpose of remembering who and whose we are. So together we are reminded that our faith keeps us focused on God. Our faith keeps us focused on God. And in the times in which we feel as though we have lost faith, we are reminded that it is faith that carries us through our darkest days. So we wait upon the Lord, which is the presence of infinite love, to guide us, keep us, protect us. And for these things in which we know through the living, loving nature of Christ, we say, thank you, God. Amen. This is the time in which we give thanks for the ways we participate in that radical spirit of generosity, the ways we create a thriving spiritual community through giving of our time, our talent, our treasure, our tithe. And so we bless that which is given. Through these unprecedented times, you have continued to be generous. So we bless that in us that is faithful and faith-filled. And we speak our love offering blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am joy-filled and grateful. You can give securely online at ucop.org/giving through Tithely, in which you can set up a regular schedule of giving, which helps support us in the office so that we can know what to expect and we can base our budget plans on those projections. You can also mail a check to 10,000 Marshall Drive at Lenexa, or pretty soon you'll be able to bring those right in and drop them into the box. So we give thanks for you, for your faithfulness and your generosity. And now it's time for one of my favorite Jamie Lula songs. There's a healing going on. Welcome back, Terry Swope.
There's a healing going on. There's a healing going on. Ooh, there's a healing going on. No, you rock my soul. Oh, you rock my soul. Let me walk to the banks of the river of love, where the current runs deep, baptized in the one, where there's no separation. separation, and light is all we see. Honoring all our differences, and love will set us free. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Oh, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. I say, oh, how you rock my soul. Oh, you rock my soul. I see the blessings of the past. It's time to requalify. Let's not forget by learning how to. God knows we gotta try. Is it my responsibility to heal the wounds in me? Compassion, faith, and hope, and love, and truth will set us free. Ooh, there's a healing going on. There's a healing going on. There's a healing going on. Oh, you rock my soul. Oh, you rock my soul. Rock my soul. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. I say, oh, you rock my soul. Oh, you rock my soul. I said, oh. You rock my soul.
You rock our soul, Terry Swope and Fred Albers. Thank you so much for that heart-wrenching, soul-twisting, making alive in a good way, not a destructive way. Ah, do you hear that? There's a healing going on. Mother Myrtle, Mama Myrtle, Myrtle Fillmore, Unity's co-founder, is how we are used to hearing her introduced. But do you know, in the Kansas City Star, Charles Fillmore was described as the head of the Unity movement founded on the thoughts of Myrtle Fillmore. That was in his wedding announcement to his second wife, Cora Fillmore. And I love that because Cora and Myrtle, of course, knew each other. Cora had been a secretary and worked, she was even head of Silent Unity for a little while, but she had worked at Unity Village and at Unity with the Fillmores for many years. So there was certainly a place in that wedding announcement to honor the work of Myrtle and the impact she has had on the Unity movement. It is even said that Unity got its start at her kitchen table, in the parlor. People were coming to Myrtle because they wanted to know, they wanted to taste what she had when it came to prayer and healing. Now, another thing you want to know about Myrtle is that she was a gifted writer, and I say is because we still have her writings, and so it continues to be a gift to us. So if she's very much alive through her writing. She loved poetry, and I shared with you last week that James Dillett Freeman, Unity's poet laureate, was encouraged by her to pursue poetry. He was even hired as a young boy to recite poetry during Unity prayer groups and study groups. So not only did she love poetry and celebrate that, she also wrote some rhymes, and I'll share some of those a little bit later. I'll also share with you her favorite poem, because many people in Unity think she actually wrote it, but it's just her favorite poem, and it's recited out at Unity Village at 11 o'clock almost every day. So I'll share that with you in just a moment. But I want us to feel the invitation of Myrtle through her writing. This is from How to Let God Help You. I just want to come in and have a visit with you. Let us forget all that has pressed itself in upon us to make us sometimes feel that God the good is not all in all. Here, in the silence, we shall know the presence of God and see clearly just how we are to go about living the life that God is giving us so we may bring forth the order, beauty, and freedom that is planned for our lives and is now awaiting our understanding use. But let us not go too far into the metaphysics of this wonderful thing. Instead, we are here together just to rest quietly and happily in reality. As we do this, a real transformation will be worked in us and for us. There's a healing going on. I added that. She didn't write that. We shall reap the good fruits of our study, affirmation, and meditation. We know from our experience in unity that there is almost a universal lack of understanding of the truth of being. When we use the word truth, which is capital T, we mean that which is true of God and true of God's children. The spiritual truth is that you are God's own beloved child, and that God is ever giving you divine wisdom, love, power, life, and substance. So when Myrtle would speak, it is described not unlike the experience of hearing Dr. Martin Luther King speak, in that it wasn't just inspirational and grab you by the heart and pull you in, but it was also intellectual and based on clear thought and clear study. Myrtle was an intellect. And many times as we teach about Myrtle and Charles and how they work together, it's often described that Myrtle was intuition, she was heart, and she was. But she was also intellect and mind. When she spoke to herself, she was doing that from an intellectual perspective. She was doing that because the science of her day began to consider the possibility that there was a lot more to it than just simple observation. Myrtle was so much more than heart. She was also intellect. What Charles brought to the endeavor, if you will, to the movement, was business savvy, organization. He was a realtor, he was a businessman, an entrepreneur, and he followed her. They both went to Chicago to hear a speaker, E.B. Weeks. And in that talk, Myrtle heard, "I am a child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness." They both went to that talk. Charles and Myrtle, they both heard the same message. They went home, and she was changed forever. Charles went to bed. He was also changed forever. He just didn't know it yet. Myrtle took that idea, and she began to work with it. She began to put action to it. Healing action. She had been given a diagnosis of tuberculosis and was told she had 6 months to live, and she was 40 years old. So at that time, that was pretty much a death sentence. And she had been told she had been sickly all her life. Her family had. Charles also, he had a withered leg, which was from polio, described as a withered leg. So they both had their own challenges. But she made a decision. And I will say, and I've said this before, as a Methodist, she made a decision. As a Methodist, born and bred Methodist, and she remained Methodist until the day she died, she and Charles invited people to come and study unity teachings as Catholics, as Baptists, as Methodists, and to take the teachings back to their churches. It was not their intention to begin a church or to take people away from other churches. They were focused on the healing teachings and the power of prayer, and they wanted those types of teachings to be taken back into whatever denomination you might come from. So you're starting to get an idea of this amazing Mama Myrtle in which our movement has been founded, in which we still today, I think, are following her. Not only was she ahead of her time, she is ahead of our time. You know, science is now really catching up in measurable ways to the ideas the Fillmores were working with. Just now. And we still, I would suggest, don't fully know what to do with these ideas. This is why we call it practice. Practice. Because we're trying, we're grasping, and then we sort of struggle with the mindset of, well, if she can do it, then I can do it, and then if I can't, there must be something wrong with me. It kind of tends to be the next place we go. Or my faith isn't great enough, I don't have the faith that Myrtle had. Well, I wasn't never a Methodist anyway. We come up with all kinds of reasons and ideas in which we might fall short. But I'll tell you, from the time that Myrtle set her journey in motion, it was 2 years before she experienced her healing. And I would say it wasn't like 2 years later, then she was healed. It was throughout those 2 years that she continued to study. She read everything she could about people who were talking about these ideas of mind curing. So she was gathering information. People who she had attended college with, Oberlin College, very radical college for that day. So if you really keep this in the context, she was born shortly after the Civil War. And it is theorized that her home in which she grew up in was actually a stop on the Underground Railroad in Ohio. So you start to get an idea of who Myrtle was and how this young woman who chose to go to Oberlin, and she kind of perpetuated this story that Oberlin College was really the only place a woman in her time could receive a college education, but that was not factually true. There were 2 other colleges much closer to her hometown that she could have attended. But she chose Oberlin probably for the politics, probably for the kind of education that she would get there, the kind of liberating education and seminary-type education that she would get there, theological education. So she was a woman who was seeking to deepen her faith through intellectual pursuits. She was a woman who loved poetry and literature. She was a woman who took an idea, matched it up with the tone and the vibration of her faith. I am a child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness, and gave birth to the unity movement. And aren't we so grateful? Aren't we so grateful for that kitchen table that led to all of this? So let me read you, before I get too far ahead of myself, her favorite poem, The Prayer of Faith. Some of you might be familiar with this. So we hear a recording of Myrtle reading this out at Unity Village every day at 11 a.m. That's the tradition of the prayer service time. And the recording varies. There are some other recordings that are played, but at least once a week, this one is played. And it is actually written by Hannah More Cohouse, who was also, she was British, but she was also part of this early New Thought movement and a very prolific writer of her own right and a musician. So this was actually written as a song. God is my help in every need. Sound familiar? Yeah. God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of this day. I now am wise, I now am true, patient and kind and loving too. All things I am, can do, and be through Christ, the truth that is in me. God is my health, I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing, quick. God is my all, I know no fear, since God and love and truth are here. Isn't that beautiful? So our young people will be learning that today in our Zoom, at least the first stanza. It's kind of long if you're little, but what beautiful affirmative words to grow up with, to have woven into your psyche at a very young age. And I would say that at any age, for us to rewrite any bad theology that was fed to us as children, these poems by Myrtle and her favorite poem that's not by Myrtle provide us just the kind of language we need. This book is filled with letters that she hand wrote to people. So people would write to her and ask her about her life, ask her about who she is, because everyone just trying to get a taste, a little flavor of who she is. The power that created you is always at work to restore you and to maintain you in wholeness. Now that you are coming into the understanding of Christ's principles and learning how to cooperate With your indwelling Lord and healer, you are made whole and well in every part. Her words are a healing salve. Her words are medicine, aren't they? Medicine for the soul, medicine for the psyche, medicine for the body. Because what we know through her teaching is that the body responds to the thoughts and the words that we give it. So her practice, her healing practice, became all about speaking to her cells. She would touch different parts of her body. Thank you knees. Thank you hips. She would get down to the cellular structure, which now we have these ideas in science, the God particle, right? The stuff at the quantum level that is divine. We don't really say that in science, but it's something like that. Something like that. And she was talking to that stuff, that divine essence, that life intelligence in her own cells without having that scientific information and clarification that we have today, without saying, oh, well, through quantum physics, I know that I can, turn a wavelength into a particle just by observing it. These are the ideas that we have today, and the ways and the degrees to which we can measure these ideas and theories and experience and watch the seemingly miraculous unfold. She was doing this from an intuitive place. And as an educator, she started a magazine called We Wisdom. Maybe some of you have heard of that. It was for children. And there are many, much like the Daily Word, so many people outside of Unity who know about We Wisdom because they received the magazines. It was like the kind of magazine you could find at the doctor's office in the lobby when you're waiting there. So it was very well circulated and read. And she wrote most of her poetry for children. And this one I chose because it is a little sassy. So I feel like we get a little of Myrtle's sass in it. And it also gives context of her time. So this was written at the turn of the century. So we're talking the 19th to the 20th century, right? Here we go. And the title of it is Mother Goose's New Departure. So take that in. Obviously referencing children's. Mother Goose's New Departure. Goodbye, old goosey gander goose. Goodbye, old spinning wheel. You've served me long, but now I feel such new life stir. I want a wheel, that I may ride and spin and whirl like any 20th century girl. I've been an old goose long enough. I'm tired of all that old-time stuff. The newest thing I want to be in all this brand new century. This old cap will never do for bright new thoughts to shine out through. So off it goes. Down goes my hair, away with wrinkles, age, and care. See? Mother Truth holds up her glass. Why, here's a young and comely lass I see as plain as can be. Just as we think, so are we. The newest thing that we can find is a new thought within the mind. All's new without when new within. Come, let us take a little spin. I mean, don't you want to follow that woman? Wherever she's going, right? Take that little spin with her. Follow her wherever she's going. And we are still doing that today. We are still trying to grasp hold of the clarity of vision she had when she heard, I am a child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness. And the mind wants to go right to, but I have a diagnosis. But I'm in excruciating pain. But years ago this happened and I still feel it. And those experiences are real and true in the moment, but they are not the capital T truth of who we are, and they are not the source of life that courses through our veins. So, we might enter that struggle in the mind. How do I work with what is out picturing in my life, with what is present in my life? I mean, it's sweet to say, away with old age and wrinkles, let down my hair, get me a new spinning wheel. And it's another thing to try to get up out of bed, or out of a chair, or see without cheaters. All of these things become a real part of our human experience. But the work for us to do in consciousness and in our own spirit is to work with the body, to work with that precious, sacred state of health that is always true from a soul level. Our work is to create, to become aware, and to bring forward that awareness and consciousness of our wholeness. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't have an experience of cancer. That doesn't mean we won't have an experience of pneumonia. It doesn't mean we are safe from a global pandemic. So what we aren't teaching is magical thinking, that if we just follow the unity way, if we follow Myrtle's way, then nothing will ever go wrong with us. And the Fillmores thought that immortality could be achieved. But there's a lot of fine print in that idea. There's a lot of fine print. The idea is that they also believed in reincarnation, that as the soul reincarnates into a body that has been shed, right, shedding off the mortal coil, that there is a point of possibility in which the soul can just resonate as its own body. So I think that's not necessarily a destination in which we are chasing after, that even the Fillmores were chasing after. I think it's a state of being that we can take with us in the very same way we learn that heaven is not a destination to which we seek to achieve once we die, nor is hell a destination to which we try to avoid and run from. But they are states of being in the here and now and in life. So is the state of immortality. So is the state of wholeness. So it becomes our spiritual work and our path to hold on to the idea, I am a child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness. That even in the midst of an apparent and outpicturing sickness, we can know that truth. I do not inherit this. This is not mine to have a hold on me, to have a grip on me. It is mine to experience and release in each and every moment from a soul perspective. And we don't judge by what's outpicturing for us. We just let it be without resistance. We let God be in the medicine. We take the treatment. We take the vitamins. We take the action that supports the physical well-being because we live in this earthly plane. But more importantly, we take the soul medicine. We integrate our teachings and our beliefs from a soul perspective so that we are always tasting that state of immortality, that state of eternity, which is the truth of our soul. And so it is.
There's a healing going on. Oh, you rock my soul. Oh, you rock my soul. Oh, the Father God, there's a healing going on. Oh, the Father God, there's a healing going on. Oh, the Father God, there's a healing going on. And oh, you rock my soul. Oh, you rock my soul. I said, oh, rock my soul.
Oh, you rock my soul. Myrtle knew that oneness, the presence of the Christ, brought on the healing. The thought of God brought on goodness visible in our lives. As we settle in to a meditative time, we understand this idea as truth resides in us. We experience the oneness. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well. All is well. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well. All is well. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well. All is well.
As we settle in for our time of meditation, I'd like to begin with a few more words by Mother Myrtle. The real purpose of your life is to express the creation of God, to unfold the many departments of your mind which God has planned for you, and which will enable you to know and to do His will. When you know that there is nothing for you to worry about or to fear, you may then relax and feel happy. When you know that living as God has planned it here and now is beautiful, and that you can know just what God's plans are for you, you will be really interested in living, won't you? So let's settle in for our time of meditation. Find yourself comfortable just as you are, and take a breath. That sustaining breath of life, and release into the present moment. If it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, I invite you to do so. But together we open the inner eye to the vast expanse of the universe, having its being in, through, and as us. And we allow ourselves to become really interested in living. Really interested in living. And so if that brings up anything for you, emotionally, spiritually, physically, just notice. Because all is welcome to the altar of the divine, and this is where we are right now. We are at the altar. So whatever it is that might be blocking our interest in living, we lay it at the altar and we allow God to do its work. If it's a physical condition, a chronic condition, if it's a relationship, if it's an emotional or psychological condition, experience, have to hide it during meditation. We bring it and we lay it on the altar. If it's a spiritual condition, if there's something that blocks us spiritually from being really interested in living, we lay it at the altar. If it is something as seemingly simple or mundane as boredom, perhaps you have become bored and apathetic with your life, we lay it on the altar. There is no resistance here. There is no exclusion here. We simply must bring all of ourselves. In order to experience the words of our meditation song, all is well, we need to be willing to show up in our totality, which is so much more than any of our human conditions or experiences, so much more than our human circumstances. We must also bring that in us which is divine to this meditative space. We hear Mama Myrtle's words, "Come sit with me." Here in the silence, God will restore that in you which has seemingly been lost. Here in the silence, you will recover your interest in living. Here in the silence, you will receive divine love, wisdom, grace. And so we allow the silence to do its work. We give thanks for the opportunity to touch the stillness. We give thanks for the abiding truth and presence of Spirit, God in us, God as us. We give thanks for the eternal promise of life, love, presence, Spirit. And so it is.
1, 2, 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Say one.
We got it. Go.
1, 2, 3, 4. God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of the day. Wherever we are, God is wherever we go. God is, let everybody know. God is, and all is well. Now I'm true, patient, kind, and loving. All things I can do and be Christ, the truth. Send me wherever we are. God is wherever we go. God is, everybody know. God is, all is well. Wherever we give, God is. Wherever we love, God is always going to be enough. God is, all is well. God is my help, I can't be sick. God is my strength and failing quick. God is my all, I know no fear. Just God and love and truth are here. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know. God is, and all is well. Yes, wherever we give, God is. Wherever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough. God is, all is well. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. Power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know. God is, and all is well. Yes, wherever we give, God is. Wherever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough. God is, all is well. I said all is well.
Ed? I know you. Thank you. I haven't done anything yet, Terry, so. But thank you. Oh, I see. Okay, all righty there. Hey, Pam, you want to join me up here on the platform? Sure. I think we just want to talk about all the cool things we have going on, especially on the 6th, which we talked about earlier how important it is that we dress appropriately and finish our breakfast before we come and all of those kinds of things, right?
Be on time.
Be on time.
Yeah,
The
we still
service
start
starts
at
at 10:10, right?
I don't know. It depends on the
Okay.
on the electronics.
This is Unity, right? So it starts at 10:10 instead of 10, right? Okay, all right, okay. All right, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. All right, we can do that, definitely. So, as we prepare for the 6th, and we've talked about all the things we wanted to make sure that we do on the 6th, one of them that we're going to do, effective today, is we are going to discontinue our coffee time because we need a little bit of time after the service to just kind of finish fine-tuning. So we're going to discontinue those Zoom meetings today. And also on the 6th, we would like to honor any graduates by listing your name and what level of education that you've graduated from. We've already received some emails on that as well. And if you know of a recent graduate, we'd love to include them in our blessing. So please send that information to me, dphilby@ucop.org, and we will include that. That's really exciting to be able to include those graduates.
Yes,
Do you know anybody that's graduated?
No.
Not even kindergarten?
No.
Okay, all righty, all right. Well, they can send it in anyway.
Okay.
You'll still be here
I'll
on the
seek them out.
You'll still be here on the 6th, and you'll hold space for all the graduates.
Darn right.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, very good. And also on the 6th, we have a celebration of life service that, not here, but we have information in our e-news and there will be information on our website about the celebration of life for our beloved songbird, Molly Hammer.
Oh.
And that will be at 7:30 p.m., so check the e-news for more information. And then I would just like to thank all of the volunteers that have made this morning possible. So we've had, round of applause, I heard that. Yeah, there we go, all righty. So we have, it takes a village, right?
It does.
Okay. And so we have volunteers that are helping us on slides, on sound, running our camera. We have greeters and ushers. And today I just want to single out our prayer chaplains. We have Donna Sherman, Judy Durrell, and Candace Wilkin, and Kathy Combs here holding space for us. Yay! We love you guys. Thank you.
We do.
So now let's just close our service with prayer, our mission statement, and a final song from Mr. Swope back here.
Okay, fine. So the prayer for protection, which we've already heard in one of the songs. Thank you very much. Yes. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And Unity, our mission statement, Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. Woohoo! So join us back here next Sunday as our poetry and prayer service concludes with Reverend Jackie's message, Sacred Service, and the poetry of Amanda Gorman. Willis and Fred will be providing our music next Sunday. Thank you. And we welcome back Terry for our final song, Already Home, which he wrote. So we are blessed.
I'm just a tiny piece of the sun. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna rise each day, just help light up the way. I shouldn't wanna hurt no one. I'm just a tiny little bird in the sky, and I'm so happy when I'm flying high. I'm gonna spread my wings and do all kinds of things. I won't even have to try. No, no. And ain't no trouble gonna bring me down. Ain't no worry gonna slow me down. No, I'm already home. Already home. ain't no trouble gonna bring me down, no. Ain't no worry gonna slow me down. No, I know I'm already home. Yeah. I'm just a tiny little cosmic dust. The same stuff that's in all of us. Hey, I know I'm free. That feels so good to me. 'Cause spirit's where I put my trust. Yes, it is. Come on now. Ain't no trouble's gonna bring me down. No. Ain't no worry gonna slow me down. Whoa, whoa, I'm already home. Already home. I'm looking out my front door. Yeah. Feels good. I'm already home. Hey, now. Thank you, Unity. Bless you all.